And then 4 Ophelia coming up from QsQ, so not too worried about the Wild Soul, at least with the blind band stage.
This is the same blind bands I believe they banned first game.
Yeah, I think you're right,
I don't think
actually.
that they blind banned, because I remember mentioning, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's weird that they blind banned an M4. We don't see it that often. But yeah, Pebbles fade nonetheless by Bassett's. They don't want specifically them to get that fade. And I feel like we had that banned every single game so far. If not blind banned, just regularly banned. But
Yeah.
nonetheless, first lot coming out for Bassett's. We'll see what he does this time. Of course, last time when he was in second position, he did lock that Magnus and a Luna. It's going to change it up a little bit, going with a Behemoth.
Yeah, that is something. Not a hero we've seen banned, picked, or anything these first 2 games. All of a sudden, first locked by Bunker down. So usually with a lock like that, it almost kind of sets a tone of they want to try. They have something in mind that they want to try, perhaps. Here, in this case, Bunker down. And in a sense, with it being tied at 1 game apiece, you can kind of say this is a fresh best-of-3 series, really. I mean, because that's what it ultimately is.
Exactly.
It's a best-of-3, so in a sense, it's kind of game 1 of a best-of-3. So maybe this would be a place to maybe try something a little bit different. But Voodoo Jester Andromeda, the quick response by Nova over there for QsQ. So their signature Voodoo Jester, and then Andromeda, another hero we've actually seen in this series already. There's the Tundra Glacius, though, follow-up. So we'll see how QsQ finishes here.
Yeah, what I'm seeing right here actually now is a lack of suicide heroes. What I talked about before is one of the safer routes to go in lockpick is to lock those suicide heroes. So hopefully they're able to get their hands on one of them. If not, they do have the making for what could be an aggressive tri-lane in the long lane. Of course, I'm talking about heroes like Behemoth and Glacius or Behemoth and Andromeda. But if your first pick, obviously since they locked that Tundra, that's probably in your mind first as picking him up. First of that lockpick phase.
Yeah, so we'll see what Nova decides to finish off with here. And for the first time in the series, going to start using extra time early on, but not much of it. It is going to be a Luna as that final choice. So really only Tundra, that kind of suicide option. Not usually their most ideal, even on the top of that, perhaps. So, yeah, you're right. I mean, this is not the most suicide-heavy lock pool by any means. Very support-heavy, though, that's for sure. As you got plenty of that. So lack of carries, lack of suicide. So we'll see now how this banning phase plays out. There we go with more access right off the bat. So as you like to talk about it, we did get a C from QsQ last game, actually. They did, of course, play more access, but unfortunately for them, wasn't enough to make the victory happen. Jerizaiah, Dark Lady, Wild Soul, and Draconis. So, of course, the Wild Soul. And then also seeing Draconis banned here. Now the final ban going to be coming up from QsQ.
Yeah, there are still great heroes available, of course. Bubbles, I'm really looking at. That's a hero, again, I really do feel like that's a hero that should be getting blind bans. We see him so often, not even so much in that suicide role as we do, but we see him frequently more in that solo mid role. And I've talked about actually with a number of people, and I really think in this metagame right now, Bubbles solo mid is very strong because he's, a lot of people think he's just such a weak lane. There you go, first pick Bubbles, right on cue. And a lot of people think he's a relatively weak laner. I disagree. I think because of the speed of his shell surf and the great attack animation that he has in comparison to some other games, it makes him a lot stronger in this game. And I think more and more teams are picking up on that.
Well, once again, referring to stats that we've talked about going back to the Redemption Tournament, Bubbles was the most picked hero.
Oh, was he?
As of heroes that were actually picked and played. I think it was 23 games out of the 32, which is pretty ridiculous when you think about it. And it was like 4 or 5 ahead of the next most played, which I'm blanking exactly in front of my mind.
But
again,
Luna?
There is
Luna,
that. Yeah,
Glacius
it was. It
tied?
might have been a Luna, Glacius. We're up there, I know. So, of course, that's all on the article on honcast.com. You can check it out for yourself. But Silhouette Pharaoh are the responses here from QsQ. Liking that Pharaoh pickup. Jonathan Fan does play a great one at that.
Yeah, this is like total QsQ-esque is going that Pharaoh very early on. Obviously, you can't really wait because the lockpick is going to determine 2 of your last heroes. So if you want to pick it up, you got to pick it up now. They do go with that, so their lanes are going to be relatively strong. They can guarantee themselves a very strong lane support. Look at that. You have a Luna, Glacius. They even have that Voodoo if they so want, and a Moon Queen coming out here actually. And this could be actually quite effective. And there's the Keeper of the Forest, most likely going to be, well, actually, you can't really tell right now, but seeing how they only have supports left in that pool, and they also have a Bubbles, I don't know. I don't think that a tri-lane here would be the smartest decision. Maybe it will be a Suicide Bubbles in this case. But at the same time, I don't really like the idea of having just a dual-lane Moon Queen in the short lane. I feel like there's too many things to lane against it. And with all those great laning supports, even Behemoth, Aluna, you could very easily set up a tri-lane against that Moon Queen. So I think in I want to say Adons. There's still a lot of tags up there. But in Bunker Down's best interest, it still would be to have that Suicide Bubbles, Suicide Keeper of the Forest, Bubbles mid, and then just a full-out tri-lane in the short lane to protect that Moon Queen.
Yeah, so we'll see what Adon. I did it. You made me do it.
I was looking at Sweet Pro. He's right-clicking artillery.
We'll see what Bunker Down decides to do here in game number 3. Damn you.
Shout out to Lions, old Lions, by the way.
Yeah.
Era and Fitzky, My Nuts.
Those guys.
Skyzo.
Great definitely one of the better teams we've had in competitive Honda history. Great team. So the final pick being thought out a lot here by Nova. So obviously started with Silhouette Pharaoh, trying to think about their third and regular final pick here, and again using a lot of time to do so. They got a strong Suicide, they got their carrier of choice. You mentioned there's a lot of support in there, so really something like a mid here makes sense. Like a Bombardier, I'm just saying, we haven't seen him for a while. A Witch Slayer, who definitely has his mid presence.
Yeah.
Of course, Magnus though is actually going to be the hero of choice here for QsQ to finish off with.
That's actually pretty smart. That tells me they're going to go solo short Pharaoh, and then maybe even Silhouette mid. Or they could go Pharaoh mid and solo short Silhouette and with an aggressive tri-lane Magnus, say Magnus Luna Glacius or Magnus Luna Andromeda. And I was suspecting this in the back of my mind. I was thinking, okay, they locked Tundra, their first pick. They probably want to pick Tundra. So that tells me, obviously, Suicide Bubbles, Tundra mid, Moon Queen bottom with one of those great supports that are still available. But then that means that you're going to have a passive jungler and Keeper of the Forest. And with Magnus on the board, with Silhouette on the board, and there you go. That's going to be a tri-lane, and that's going to be going up against this Moon Queen. So Bunker Down's really got to think about the lanes and how they're going to approach this.
Yeah, that does make things a little bit difficult. Now, of course, that starts with how they want to finish here. It is tough. I mean, if Voodoo Jester, although it's played by QsQ and specifically Nova all the time, a lot of other teams don't really have as much experience on the hero. But then there's Andromeda, not the most strongest laning heroes we keep referring to. I will say having Andromeda and Moon Queen on the same team can be powerful because of the double aura. That can be pretty effective, especially into that mid to late game stage. So if you're playing for that, that could be a popular choice here. And then there's Behemoth, which that's more of a turtling style, and it can set up some great initiation as well as block off some potential if they run an aggressive trial lane with that Fissure Stun. So I can see definitely logic for all three of them, honestly. But we'll see. Of course, it's Bassett's choice in the end over here for Bunker Down, and they're using a bit of extra time here to ultimately decide when it's all said and done. So
yeah,
we'll see what they go with here.
I think without a shadow of a doubt, it needs to be Andromeda. What you have to be thinking right now if you're Bunker Down is you have to concede the laning phase. Look at the power that you have from QsQ. They're going to win their lanes no matter what. Yeah. So the best thing to do is to try to dodge it, be passive, and try to set up ganks in other lanes. And who better to do that than Andromeda? So they do go with Andromeda. They have my big seal of approval right there.
Stamp that baby with the Trowel seal of approval.
Seal of approval.
We're still waiting for that to actually happen. No, but the ready up's going through here. So just a matter of time before game number 3 is going to be starting here. Of course, we are tied at 1 game apiece. So like I keep going back to, kind of in a sense, this is a fresh best of 3 start here, if you really want to look at it that way. But a trip to DreamHack Winter 2012 is on the line for both QsQ and Bunker Down. Here we are, though, in game number 3. Again, it's going to be interesting, very, very interesting to see how they lane here this time around. The big flaw, the big unfortunate thing for Bunker Down the first game was that laning phase. So you kind of hope that they don't fall into that same trap again. But yet again, we do see QsQ sending 4 out of their 5 members very quickly bottom. And they're going to look to get that Ward Side place down. Andromeda and Moon Queen so far, though, are heading down here. And it looks like Keeper of the Forest is planning to be in that jungle. So this is going to be very deadly here for Bunker Down, you would think.
And hopefully they learn the lesson that QsQ is very good about running down here very quickly. So they're already scouting out with one of the tree dogs. And yeah, they've managed to get all 5 heroes down for QsQ in this jungle. They want to secure that ward down, and they will do so. They're trying to actually kill that tree dog. They will. A little bit of extra gold there for Nox.
Yay.
So he's got a little bit of extra gold to boot. But, yep, top lane. Actually, we're going to see a little bit of change here. Tundra's going to be taking that suicide lane, and it's going to be Bubbles actually mid. So one of the things you can do here is you really do have to suspect, with showing a Moon Queen pick, that you want to be aggressive against that, especially with a jungler now. I mean, that's pretty on the board. Like, they're going to jungle with Keeper. You're going to have a better lane against that. You're going to have 3 against 2. You have the burst. So they really just need to concede it. Have Moon Queen just kind of, he's going to suffer down here either way.
Yeah.
So have him try to do his best, get some experience, maybe even farm creeps with that Q ability, the Moonbeam. and then have Andromeda maybe even set up a kill top onto the Silhouette or mid onto the Pharaoh.
Yeah.
So it is actually going to be, as I suggested, the Pharaoh mid, Silhouette top. I think Silhouette in the short lane is just much stronger than Pharaoh, and Pharaoh actually can do somewhat decent in mid, and it is going to be against the Bubbles. He does have Shield Hatchet, and that's a proper item choice against a ranged hero.
You look at what Glacius, Magnus, and Luna are doing, though. They're going to actually pull the creep wave here with Glacius, so it's going to be interesting to see. I guess there's really not much Andromeda and Moon Queen can do to react to that. They're just going to have to try to get as many last hits here as possible and just leech up the experience. So what do you make of this decision from Q Squad?
Well, it's kind of like similar to a Wild Soul pulling his bear, I suppose. They want to safely farm this and then get lane control. You see them just like all running around, like playing tag or something.
Scatter.
But it's exactly similar to using Wild Soul. So they're getting at that lane positioning. I don't think you really need to do that, though, when you're 3 against 2, because all you have to do is just hard deny. Like, deny as fast as possible, and then you get lane control, and then, bam, they can't do anything. So, I don't know. It's kind of quirky. It's kind of fun, I guess, but nonetheless, they have the lane control now. That's the important thing. And now Moon Queen can't do anything. Andromeda, what's he doing? He needs to run around. He looks like he did a little bit of warding, actually. Same exact spot as Nova. So if Nova saw that, he's going to be able to spot that out and actually counter ward that. But, yeah, I mean, Andromeda, there's just nothing they can do in this bottom lane. I hope they realize that soon. They don't even need a lane swap. I know that that's probably what is in the back of their mind. They just need Andromeda to set up ganks. That's all they need to do.
Yeah, so Andromeda for now, I mean, kind of just wandering around a little bit again, and does seem just fairly lost. So Rhythme, we'll see eventually if he tries to make something happen. But at the very least, especially for Moon Queen here, as we always go back to, just simply stay alive. A lot easier said than done when you're going up against a Magnus, Glacius, or Luna. But still, just do your best to stay alive. And, even if you don't happen to be underleveled and under-farmed, you just gotta have to hope that your other 2 lanes, especially keep the forest having that free time in the jungle, can just do enough to come through and eventually get you that farm time.
Exactly.
Farm time when it's all said and done. So really just be patient with it. Again, Andromeda is choosing to kind of still hide out here, though, for the most part. And just going to at least hang out nearby. Maybe just simply here for that support. If they choose to initiate, she's here for a Comet Stun, ready to protect Moon Queen. I guess that's kind of the only logic I can see.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Tundra versus Silhouette at the top lane, and Bubbles versus Pharaoh here in the middle lane. And Bubbles is actually going to get the first rune of the game. It is going to be an Invis, which he's just going to take and then go back to the middle. So,
yeah, Bubbles versus Pharaoh. I still think, Pharaoh is going to be able to get all those last hits he wants because of that Shield Hatchet combination, but Bubbles still can just pound in auto attacks as much as he can, spam his abilities ASAP, and get a lot of damage in. There is an early bottle on both sides, so it's going to be a little bit of a passive match, at least right now, for them. Let's look at early CS, 10-2 for Bubbles, and Pharaoh has actually 14-5, so yeah, that Hatchet really coming into play. And there's the roam from Andromeda. Here's the only problem when you go late. Andromeda's only level 1. If they do decide to do some counter roaming, like say Glacius or Luna, they still have good levels. They have level 2. And they definitely don't need 3 against this Moon Queen down here. So they can easily have 1 roam mid as well to respond to Andromeda moving there.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, Glacius just kind of walking around a little bit right now. Does walk past the ward of sight and nearly got to Moon Queen, but Moon Queen obviously knows it's coming, so going to be fine. Speaking of roam, though, Melee on a Luna is now heading towards the middle lane, maybe spotted because of this ward of sight here placed by the Legion team. But actually, Moon Queen ports middle, so they are going to switch this up when it's all said and done. And Bubbles is eventually going to go down to the bottom lane. So I think it's safe to say, though, as you're kind of hinting at earlier, not a huge fan of them perhaps doing this. In fact, we see right here, the Luna Stun is not going to bounce. She only has level 1 of it, and she still tried to bounce it. So either Melee just forgot about that change, or just something just didn't connect right there. So it was a good idea, but you need to be level 3 with a level 2 stun for that to work. So unfortunate, but I don't know. I mean, Bubbles running into Glacius. Actually, Bubbles in a little bit of trouble. The hasted Glacius is going to be coming in. Does have it. Oh, the Torment's all going to hit. And Bubbles going in with the shells up at the last second. One more auto attack. Oh, he runs back into the creeps. He says, screw it. I'm dead anyways. I might as well get killed by the creeps, so I can respect that, obviously. I mean, that was going to be a bloodlust. So that's the good news. But in the meantime, in the middle lane now, out comes on Miami Wall. You see the Commissant coming out. Glacius trying to be with assistance as he charges in. He put the freeze out already. And not the greatest time for a pause, but we do have a pause here coming out, but it seems like so far this is not working out the greatest for Bunker Down.
Yeah, and that is a level 3 Hellfire, so I'm pretty sure he will get that kill on Moon Queen. It's going to take a considerable amount of damage from the tower, but Andromeda already used the stun onto that Glacius, I want to say. Or actually, I think he actually used it on the Pharaoh when he used that Mummy Wall. And so he does does not have that up for another 5 seconds, so it's going to be close here, but I'm pretty sure he has that kill. I wanted to mention something. Oh, yeah, see, comparing this team right now to, say, undoubtedly, I think, the #1 team in the world is Complexity. Had they had the same situation, the same draft, I can guarantee you Franzi would just already know, Peter Pan would already realize there's no way we're winning this bottom lane. I'm not just going to come down here and then say, okay, we can't do anything down here, now let me try to go mid. He's going to do it before the fact. He's going to even set up a kill. He just already knows they can't do anything with that. So he's just going to maybe like sit up top for a kill, or already sit mid for a kill. Probably top, actually, because mid's a little bit more difficult, and it's easier to respond to that from the supports coming from the bottom lane. And so I think that's what you need to do in this situation. You need to expect it earlier.
Well, we do see, you talked about Moon Queen, maybe a kill. Is it going to be enough? It goes Keeper the Force with the support, and Pharaoh big time, but the power throw hit, and down he goes. Pharaoh, though, in a little bit of trouble himself. Kama's not going to be coming up from Andromeda any second. Not even necessarily Aurora does the work, and Rhythmay playing that Andromeda will get the counter kill. So, in the end, it's a 1-for-1, but still Bloodlust on top of killing Moon Queen. I think QsQ ultimately is just happy to be coming out on top there. But yeah, this exchange, I mean, especially with the levels that Pharaoh already had over these two, it showed. I mean, they've been taking a lot of aggression here, and QsQ's making the best of that change up. And now Magmus has just been free farming. He was already, I guess, but he's just even more so free farming now. 35 and 20 creep farm down here for Style.
Yeah, it's near perfect. It's really, really good. He's actually got enough for us. Actually, the shell surf happening, the stun coming out from Style, but not going to pursue that. He actually almost has enough for that portal key, but that would be kind of silly and pretty bad to buy, in my opinion. It does go for the Steam Boots, so the Steam Boots I feel like are pretty darn good on Magmus. I personally like Ghost Marches. I feel like it almost extends the range of your stun, especially at when you're level 7. But nonetheless, mid lane, what do we got going on? Pharaoh taking a little bit of damage, but he's quite tanky himself with that shield mitigating some damage. Top lane, the CS between Tundra and Silhouette. Silhouette 32 and 13. Tundra at 17 and 1, so easily winning that lane is Silhouette, but as she should.
Yeah. And, you know, again, as usual, though, the quiet, you just sit back, passive farmer, keeper of the forest. He, no doubt, is going to have to play a big impact here. There goes the Ring of Sorcery. He is level 6. Are we going to see something out of him? Do you think, what would you like to see come out of Zepro here playing the Keeper of the Forest? So hold that thought though for a second. Bubble's going to shell surf away before the kill, so he'll be fine, but did take a lot of damage there. But what do you want to see for Keeper of the Forest right now?
Well, he needs to make something happen. That ultimate's there. It's ready to use. I would even say walk behind mid. It's around that time, about 6 minutes, where wards start to fade away, and he could probably walk there and set up a kill. Glacius does spot him out. He doesn't have that much mana, but of course he does have that Ring of Sorcery. He just summoned some creeps, though, so he won't be able to gank until that Ring of Sorcery comes up. And let's see, the Nature's Veil costs 60, ult costs 150, so he actually won't have enough to invis in and then go for that ultimate. But we see actually a gank coming out from mid from Nova and Glacius. Doesn't have boots yet, but maybe looking for something on this Andromeda.
Yeah.
Oh, hook attempt.
Them, but there's that hook coming out from Pharaoh, catching Moon Queen. He also has a double damage rune on top of the power throw. Easy kill setup right there. Glacius did run into Andromeda, but neither one could do enough to kill one or the other. So it ends up working out very well again for Jonas and Fan playing for QsQ. Now up 2-1 hero kills, as Jonas Fan is actually a 1-1-1 hero kill stat, but he's farming 270 gold per minute. He has had a very good time here in the middle lane himself. Keeper of the Forest, though, level 7. Gonna yet again run into Glacius. He does have a root. Is he going to think it's worth it here if he can get this around? Maybe not. So, yeah, just out of range. And Glacius will just skirt away before too much pressure comes out. But look at the top lane now. Tundra's actually in a lot of trouble. Silhouette running in. The power throw used to cut through the trees. Not going to get the hit. But Tundra now in a lot of trouble. Diving into the tower. How is he going to get away right here? I do not know, and it's just not going to happen. Death Lotus Nuke to finish him off. It's just almost a Bassus just gave up on life right there.
He gave up on life. Nox is now going to be farming out of control. And not even just him. Look at that 55 CS for Magmus. That's insane. You compare that to, I think it was Slicks yesterday when we cast, I forget which hero. I want to say it was Silhouette, actually, where he had something like 100 CS at 10 minutes. It was like 95 CS at 10 minutes or something ridiculous like that. So, yeah, they're well on their way to starting out this game strong. 3K gold lead, looking at the early numbers here for QsQ. And the Glacius, unfortunately, is still only level 3. But still making an impact on this game nonetheless.
Yeah, just like the first game. I mean, I guess really both early games they're kind of in the sense where it's just for either team. The first game it was a big start for the QsQ, and Bunker Down just could really never fully recover. You know, last game it was a similar thing. Bunker Down had a great start, and QsQ could never really fully recover. We do see the Kelphill used down here at the bottom lane. He's going to try to go for a kill on a Magnus. In comes the Avalanche from Thunder. There's that piercing shot to Cold Shoulder, and they finally get the kill. That was very odd because it took forever for Tundra to get there, but in the end, that kelp field did help set up the kill on a Magnus. And now here comes Cube of the Forest. The trees are spawned. They're going to look to apply some pressure to the tower down here.
Yeah, definitely. The boots and the Homecoming Stone purchase on Keeper, they want to push this tower, but it is full HP, and I gotta say, Aluna is great against a Keeper of the Forest, especially with Pharaoh in the mix. It is only level 1 Tormented Soul, but still, every little bit helps, and they're probably going to be able to defend this. And I think it's just a matter of a little too late. I think Keeper of the Forest can actually start pushing when he hits level 5. And by that time, you start pushing, you stay in that lane, it takes you a little bit of time. You ding 6 when people start TPing in, and then you get a good exchange out of that ultimate.
Well, you know, you have a Moon Queen as well, and as expected, you really did think that she was going to be behind, but, you know, they made some switches, and so the idea was that they could start to get some earlier farm on her, but still, it's struggling. I mean, she's only 28 and 10, 185 gold per minute. She's 0 and 2, so obviously that's not helping. Pharaoh, in the meantime, is setting up a gank here at the bottom lane, sitting here with an Invis Rune. If they spot Bubbles down here, he's going to Torment Soul. No, a Creep Wave actually aggroes him, so he just despawned with the Invis Rune. That's unfortunate, but he's going to pull the Creep Wave, actually, and they'll get a good push on this tower as a result. So that worked out very well, and maybe it wasn't even planned. Bubbles is still just sitting here. He does have a kelp field. They can look for a possible counter. Keeper of the Forest does have a homecoming, so they're pushing the middle of the tower. In the meantime, the ports are coming in. Ultimate activated by Moon Queen, but no one ported in, so maybe it's the creep once, but that was it. So very good cancel, whoever that was. Shellster port, not going to happen in time. Bubbles in a lot of trouble. The eruption even going to come out. Down he goes. The tower falls, and we have some split pushing going on here now.
Definitely, the tower falls. They get the kill on Bubbles. They're applying a lot of pressure to this mid tower. They don't have another glyph yet because they just used it. And if they get this, that could be very good for them. Let's see what the gold goes to. 2,600 and then 1,200 experience. So a decent trade if you're bunkered down. They definitely need that gold up. They need Andromeda with boots badly. And they need any bit of farm they can get on Moon Queen. Because like I said, Moon Queen, she carries very hard in late game. Arguably harder than Silhouette once with full, max full items. But just getting there. I mean, Silhouette can be a lot more effective, like similar to what I was talking about Puppet Master, can be a lot more effective with less items than Moon Queen.
Yeah, definitely can be. So, you know, picking up a hero like Moon Queen really just does get you to that statement of, well, we're playing for that mid to really just late game phase from the beginning. So that's really kind of what Bunker Down is doing now. They're going to catch Pharaoh right here. The root comes out after the invis. In come the minions. The Commissar to follow, and Pharaoh is going to drop right here. Q Squad obviously just couldn't react to it. They got 0 towers here in the middle lane, so yeah, I'm sure they even wanted to, but there's nowhere to port to. So we talk about that all the time. I mean, sure, it's one thing to get gold from those towers, but it does give you map positioning, and it gives you advantages in that sense that the Hellborn team just can't react in this case. So good gank set up in a fair in the middle lane, and Bunker Down is starting to calm things down a little bit yet again, just like game 1. And although it's not even as extreme, this is definitely much more in-game this time around. So that's the good news here for them.
Yeah, and the more that I'm thinking about it, too, Andromeda just seems to fit their lineup well. Obviously, the Aurora and the Aura, spelled the Dimensional Link, works really well with Keeper of the Forest and as far as pushing goes. But there's the Blink Magnus coming out as he initiates on a Tundra, and he just gets decimated. The port coming in from Andromeda, but just too little too late as 4 heroes were up there. Nova sitting in mid, trying to leech a little bit of experience that he can with his teammate getting kills and pushing in the top. So they're doing a 4-1 strategy, but this time it's actually Nova getting the farm. And I agree with that. I mean, I still think he needs support to have a decent amount of farm and experience.
Yeah, and that just happens to be where he's at as well. So they get the tower kill. That's the good news. Now, the Ancients were just cleaned up by the Legion team, so at least they were able to get out of there as well before the Hellborn team started to move over, as you saw. But Silhouette is level 10. Nox here, 418 gold per minute, being level 10. She already has a Sustainer Ring of the Teacher and Steam Boost, and another 1,700 gold saved up. So that Null Stone is definitely in the works here for Nox very, very quickly. And they're going to give it the pressure. They've lost a secondary tower themselves. They want to get one now. But the Legion team, they're not going to give it up as easily. They're going to start moving over. And we could have a fight brewing right here. Keeper of the Forest does have his portal key, actually. So that is huge here for the Legion team, as Zepro has really stepped it up. I mean, he is now at 360 gold per minute. Yeah. So we said that was going to be a huge key for the success of Bunker Down, especially with the way the lanes were starting. They really needed him to restart, and that he did. We do see at the bottom lane, Moon Queen's in a lot of trouble down here. Got jumped by Pharaoh. There is the Moon Queen ultimate was used to try to counter, but just too much damage coming out.
And even on top of that, the red power snipe coming out from Aluna. That's one thing I didn't even think about, too, is the synergy with Aluna and Pharaoh being able to set up that global gank between the two of them. So good pickoff from Jonas and Fan using his Pharaoh. I mean, his Pharaoh seems to be a signature hero for him, and he's playing it quite well this game. No surprise there.
Yeah, very, very well played. So good pick on a Flensmeister, and speaking of just lack of tower support, that's another case of that. I mean, there was no bottom tower here, so obviously Bunker down, not able to port in to give support to Moon Queen and perhaps set up a turnaround. So Moon Queen is now back up, but slowing down what was starting to be a little bit of momentum for farm, but now she's 0-3-1, farming 260 gold per minute. It looks like she is going to be going. It could be either Icebrand or Shrunken Head, but I would like to think it is going to be the Shrunken Head first item pickup here. And as always, you think that is the correct choice, Tro?
On which hero?
Moon
This is
Queen.
the Moon Queen. Yeah. Definitely. She really needs to get a Shrunken Head first item. Don't even go for a Whispering Helmet at this point. You're farming so slowly. It actually, I mean, with those tower pushes, it's actually propelled him above 250 gold per minute. I'm surprised in even that. But yeah, definitely has to go for that first item, Shrunken Head.
Yeah, so on her way, I should say, to that, you do see she's going to join the rest of her team as well, pushing this top tower here. Now, we do have a Luna already nearby. Silhouette is charging in. She's level 11. Ports are coming in as well. This could be a big fight for Nick. Keeping the force jumps in with the root, but you see the illusion split by Silhouette right there. Avalanche on top of that. They really want this to go to Silhouette, but it's not going to happen. The swap out from Andromeda, but Pharaoh will also catch right there to keep it the force. And Moon Queen just running away. Her ultimate's not even off cooldown with that Moon Finale. Will she be able to port out in time? Yes, she will. So that's the good news there. And they did get the... No, it was denied, actually, at the last second. So QsQ definitely coming out on top of the big fight team. That fight big time, as Bubbles is also just going to port out at the last second right there. Yeah,
a number of things went wrong. First of all, the root on one hero, and it was a Silhouette. I've talked about how Silhouette can use that ultimate to just disjoint out of it, and so that ultimate was wasted. The pursuing, just even the fact they were pursuing that Luna, I talked about the same time we saw earlier on with the last game with Magnus. I know it was last game and they still won, but going behind the tower when they don't really have all the vision. Yes, they do have the shiver there, but trying to dive that far when your teammates aren't there to really support you quickly enough, the ports come out and it's just too fast of a turn. And also the swap onto Keeper of the Forest, he was still dying, he was still inevitably dead, and that pretty much just sealed Rhythmy's death as well. So kind of some questionable decisions right there.
Yeah, I agree with you, definitely. I mean, as you're really watching, it's a case of, no, what are you doing? No, what are you doing now? No, why are you still doing this? So it was just one poor decision after the other, it seemed like, for Bunker down, unfortunately, and it just didn't end it all too well. I mean, it is thankful that Moon Queen got out, because she was definitely in a dangerous spot herself, really deep into that jungle, but she was able to port out in time before she eventually fell. So, again, that was kind of the lighter side of that just overall bad situation there. But back to calming things down, it's unfortunate because QsQ is now up to a 6,000 goal lead, as well as a 5,200 experience. And yet again, look at Nova, man. I mean, he buys the Bound Eye. Even on Glacius with only 2 minor totems and Striders, has a Bound Eye on himself currently. We'll see if he gives that to somebody else or if he just keeps it. But he hates dealing with those wards and does a good job of countering them. Magnus, in the meantime, in the middle lane, got nearly ganked, but he's able to port a key in time before he got jumped, so well played.
Quick note, shout out to the chat. If you're talking about max CS in 10 minutes and you're trying to come up with these numbers, you're forgetting to factor in all the neutral creeps that you can kill, which do count. And there's a lot of little neutral creeps. You kill a stack of Snotters, that's definitely going to boost up your numbers. So when I'm saying max CS, I know you're referring to the Slicks comment, but obviously farming in the jungle is going to increase that number greatly. So one thing to think about there. But the hook attempt actually went on bottom. It did hit creeps there, unfortunately, for Jonas and Fan. They had a very aggressive ward here coming out from Nova. Two actually, oh no, that's a counter ward there on the right side. But a aggressive ward here in the jungle there, so they can spot out any kind of farming the Legion team wants to do in their own jungle.
Yeah, that definitely is aggressive. I mean, a little bit different of a placement, too. It's usually, you may see it a little bit further up north, but again, you got to be crafty sometimes as a support, and you don't want to put it in the obvious spot every single time, or else it just will easily be countered. Zepro just going to continue to farm in the jungle himself. As I said earlier, he has that portal key. He's had that for a little bit. In fact, he used that in the last fight. That just didn't go all too well, but we'll see how he continues to make up. Magnus is level 11 now, man. Again, Style had a great start to this game with that creep farm. It's obviously slowed down a little bit because he's been involved in team fights, as you would expect, but still, he is farming 370 gold per minute. The portal key steam boots, he must have, he has 1,800 gold saved up on top of that, so very good start for him. And then there's Silhouette. Of course, Nox being Nox. 470 GPM, 1,800 gold saved up, already having the no stun. Pharaoh will hit the hook right here onto Andromeda this time. The ultimate power throw coming through, and down goes Andromeda. But now Pharaoh, is he going to be countered on? Keeper of the Forest, they're thinking about it, but I guess just not worth it in the end. So Andromeda takes the sacrifice right there. And Keeper the Force is going to try to have fun here with Pharaoh now.
And that's that global presence I was just talking about between Pharaoh and Aluna. Very effective if you can coordinate it. And I mean, how couldn't you? It's quite easy, actually.
Yeah.
You just hook them, use that wall. They're stuck there for, what, a minimum, I think, of 5 seconds it is at level 1. Well, okay, 3 seconds. But that still gives you plenty of time
Feels
to set
like
up.
20 seconds.
I know. When you're in it, it's like, it feels like forever. But it gives you plenty of time to set it up. And so good job with the coordination between Mala and Jonas Fan yet again.
Yeah, excellent play right there. As you said, that global presence. There's the portal key purchase on Silhouette, though. So portal key, steam boots, and nullstone. We're pre-20 minutes still. Already has those trio of items. Very, very effective start for her. And we'll see if they either try to maybe, or continue to play more aggressive, I should say, or if they may try to go more in a passive style and figuring that they have a comfortable lead and try to continue to work off of that. We do see them pushing the middle lane here, so very likely going to go for an initial tower kill. Silhouette, she still has her ultimate ready to go, hasn't used it yet, so she's ready for perhaps that Keeper the Force route you talked about earlier, and as we saw earlier, if she gets rid of it, she's just like presses R, and all of a sudden she is out of it. So the tower is going to start dropping. Will the Legion team be able to do enough? In fact, the dive coming out right here. There's the follow from Silhouette. Down goes Thunder right off the back. Keeper the Force is here, but he is not going to root. Instead, he's just going to start falling back. Pharaoh did hook Bubbles in the background, and Bubbles taking a lot of damage. Bubbles will fall. Nox is just too powerful, just tearing him a new one. Keeper the Force, will he finally root? Yes, he will, but Aluna avoids it. The root does happen, but in comes a Magnus Eruption, and it's absolute destruction. Some buybacks did happen here from the Legion team, but is it going to be enough for an ultimate turnaround? Glacial Downpour finally cancel right there. Magnus stunning in, and they're going to finish off under level 16. Silhouette is just, again, way too much damage to deal with. Flensmeister going to get caught out. Mally with the power throw will finish him off, despite, I believe, 2 buybacks there. Yes, both Tundra and Bubbles bought back. They still clean them up. Bubbles finally comes back in, gets a double tap, actually, but at what cost right here? DM from Russ will fall and gives a hat trick to Nox in the end.
Oh, just everything that went wrong could have. And they're just overwhelming them with the mass burst and good catch-ya spells that they all have. I mean, the Pharaoh hook, the stun coming out from Magnus a number of times. And when you build Magnus to have a relatively decent mana pool with, I mean, Steam Boost can help you with that as well in the upgraded mana battery, then you can go in and jump in several times with your Blink stun, and he did that a number of times and was very effective.
Yeah.
And now as a result, Nox is 5-0-6, has a massive farm, and QsQ in general has a massive lead.
Yeah, they really do. I mean, 13,000 gold and experience lead pretty much. Yeah, 555 gold per minute and counting now on Silhouette, but also level 17. I'm looking at the Legion team. He is 5 levels higher than anyone on the Legion team right now. That's the Bubbles. I mean, 6 and 7 even than most of them. So he truly is just dominating this game. That last fight just did so much for him. He just jumped out, I think, at least 2 levels in the fight alone. Just got crazy gold from it. So yeah, that, you said it. I mean, bunker down, just everything seemed to go wrong in that fight for them. And it all started with Style on the Magnus. He's the one that jumped in first, got the quick pick on a Tundra, and it just seemed like the chain ball effect or snowball effect from there. So obviously, bunker down with what is on the line especially. This is game number 3 here in a best out of 5 series. We're tied at 1 game apiece, of course, as you can see on your screen. But bunker down, they're behind here in game 3, and they're going to need a lot of good things to happen. And well, let's be honest, a bit of bad play from QsQ to come out for them to have a chance. And obviously it is possible for sure. In fact, Bubbles going for the haste, but it's going to be stolen right before his eyes. And Bubbles is going to fall as a result of that as well. That is just one of the most annoying and frustrating things that can happen. You think you have a sure thing, and all of a sudden you get jumped literally steps before it, and you get killed on top of that. Andromeda trying to port out Woolly Beach. Oh no, Magnus actually portal keyed away right as he was running next to Andromeda, so not able to catch him, but still positive for QsQ.
Well, oh yeah, I suppose. But yeah, the most annoying thing too is, as you mentioned, like say you're in a mid matchup and you're both walking towards that rune. It hasn't spawned yet. It's like 1 minute 50 seconds. You're both quite evenly matched, and then it's a haste rune. Bam, he gets it. You're dead. Yeah. So it's very, very annoying. But yeah, at this point, it doesn't really matter. I mean, QsQ's it's such a sizable lead, and they really do have a strong hard carry. I mean, Moon Queen can contend, but just is not going to get that far in this game. It's just not going to happen. It's very close enough. You see, actually, you probably have it on screen as Style is playing with that ultimate just a little bit. Actually saw, I can't remember who it was that was playing with it too much and actually has to end up using it as a result.
Oops. Yeah, obviously they're in a comfortable spot, but again, especially with what is on the line, this series is tied at 1 game apiece. You know, you want to see maybe a little bit away from being a little too confident. Not that I'm saying there's anything wrong with what he's doing. I mean, by all means, you're allowed to have fun. But, you know, it's we've seen a bigger comeback, let's be honest. So Definitely not secured just yet, but QsQ is in a very comfortable spot. Level 18 Silhouette. Every time I look at her, she just, hell, she has a shrunken head now. Why the hell not? So, Franken Kongor here is going to start taking a lot of damage. QsQ committing to this quite a bit, and I don't think Bunker Down is even aware. And again, as we talk about it, if they even are, can they even stop it? Probably not. So, Kongor should fall here in favor of QsQ, and you got to think the Token of Life is going to go to Silhouette. We'll probably sell that Ring of the Teacher. That's just even more annoyance you're going to have to deal with now if you're bunkered down. I'm sure QsQ may just look to go finish this game after this even. Could be very likely. As you don't want to buy too much time for Moon Queen to start coming back, who does have her own Shrunken Hound now, by the way. So there's some positive news for Bunker Down again.
Yeah, it's going to be hard, though. You have the Shrunken Head up on Silhouette. It's going to mitigate all that damage. Magnus, of course, has a number of disjoint abilities. I feel like QsQ is just going to take this the safer route, probably get those outer towers before pushing into the base.
Yeah. Oh, Magnus actually jumps Skipper the Force right here, goes Invis, but the bound angle, the miss! Wrath of the Pharaoh coming out from Pharaoh. And you even see Magnus using the Eruption right there. I don't know if that was supposed to be a taunt or if that was in purpose, but seemed like a bit of overkill nonetheless. But hey, they get the kill. And now they're going to push this secondary middle tower. Silhouette will be in the front lines, easily finishing it off. And there we go. Mallet actually gets credit playing that Aluna. So QsQ finding themselves in a very, very comfortable lead now. And will they start committing to the base? It looks like they are. Say, why the hell not? They don't have a Savage Mace on Silhouette yet, but she doesn't care. A couple of misses here and there, not the biggest deal. She'll just start dropping the tower from below. And Bunker Down will definitely have to respond here.
Yeah, they have their ultimates up. When Keeper the Force is back up, they will have to fight. And this is kind of their last stand in this fight. They are fighting against a token on Silhouette, which is very, very scary. And their coordination has to be tip-top.
Yeah. Well, here we go. Moon Queen, it's said all the ultimates are up, including Moon Queen. And she is level 12 now, so of course has that level 2 Moon Finale. We're going to see 3 more beams as a result of that. But QsQ, they're falling back very quickly, and they're all spread out, and they're just says, screw it, it's not worth it. We just wanna live. So they're gonna fall back and be fine for now. Magma's fighting up some creeps just before he portals keys away. You see the Shiver, maybe actually spotted him, but they weren't able to jump him in time. So Bunker Down will now start to push out themselves and try to again get some more farm. But there you go, Slayer purchased on Silhouette. So definitely a Savage Mace in the works for her. Magnus actually getting caught out here a little bit. The Kelfield able to avoid that. He did take the stun from it, but the portal key at the last second, right as the Cold Shoulder was about to connect. And Style does make the getaway. So
makes the getaway in style.
Oh, hey-yo.
Hey-yo.
Style doing it in style. Yeah, great player and showing us some more great plays there once again. Again, 400 gold per minute himself on Magnus. It's just absurd. 3,400 gold saved up, by the way. So he's got a Soul's Bar. He may just actually finish a Demonic Breastplate in the near future as he's going back to base. Wouldn't be surprised.
Yep. That Savage Mace is going to be very closely to be picked up by Silhouette, and as you mentioned, being able to attack. And actually, Avalanche is used onto Pharaoh, that is right there. The stun coming out from Andromeda. Pharaoh's quite tanky, though. The ultimate used from Moon Queen. Is Pharaoh going to live? No, he's not. The ultimate comes out from King of the Forest, but there's that Shrunken Head activated onto Silhouette, pumping out a lot of damage. Andromeda actually still lives. And actually, Silhouette's kind of on the back foot just a little bit, but no, Tundra is going to fall most definitely. Bubbles does come in with the Shell Servant Song the Silence. She's going to be in a world of hurt, but the stun comes out. There's actually the blink out from Zetpro. He will be fine. Andromeda on the back foot. He's actually in a lot of trouble, and then trying to pursue somebody. Moon Queen's running away, does not have Shrunken, does not have a Homecoming Stone, but maybe he's just going to hide out and try to be under the radar.
Well, that was a very awkward fight, honestly. It was a very awkward position to fight on in the first place. I mean, we had several heroes up here on the hill. I mean, Moon Queen is up there on the hill at the neutral camp spot trying to maybe do some damage from the high point. You had several Legion players, they were going up and down the ramp. Bubbles decided to port in at a very awkward and odd timing right there and just didn't have nearly enough follow-up support to make anything happen. He ended up dying as a result of that. So, yeah, that was really just an odd fight from Bunker Down altogether. When it's all said and done. I mean, they set it up initially for the gank onto Pharaoh, and obviously that made sense. I mean, it seemed like they had a free kill, which they ended up getting, but it set up that all snowball effect as we saw. And I think in the end, QsQ came out on top. But as expected, Demonic Breastplate has been delivered to Magnus, actually. So he's got that now. Silhouette, again, the Savage Mace is in the works, sitting on a Slayer, needs the 2 Warhammers. And then we'll be good to go. Portal Keys here on the Legion team. Obviously, Tundra does have his now. And Bubbles, well, still a little bit of ways, unfortunately. DM from Russ, not the greatest game of this series for him, as he has definitely been struggling. So Bunker down, going to try to hold their own here. Moon Queen, we've seen some ultimates that have been used. I mean, it hasn't seemed to be the most damage for her. She's going to be delivered a Homecoming Stone all the way down here. She's in a lot of trouble. So she's been sitting down here for a while. We'll finally port back to base and get ready to defend because Q Squad is going to start massively pushing the spot lane, it looks like.
Yeah, and well, the fact that they tried to initiate on the Pharaoh, and he's just, I mean, he actually went for the Helm of the Black Legion pickup, so he's quite tanky. It took him just simply too long to kill him.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if he's the hero that you want to burst down in these fights before they start. I think it needs to be Maximus. It would be Silhouette, but she has the Token of Life, so that just sucks for Bunker down. And right now the tower is down. Let's check the time on that Token of Life. It's perfect timing to push, as they do have 2 minutes left on that.
We do see the illusion killed for Silhouette, so won't have that to port to, but again, you just refer to that Token of Life, so living life on the edge here, still not having the Savage Mace though, so not just dropping this tower like crazy by any means. But yeah, I was a little bit curious. I mean, they've already done a lot of damage to that mid tower, so why don't they just go to that one? But they are going to move up to here. However, not going to commit to anything, going to clean up the creep wave first, and then melee to start pushing in. That time is ticking down though on the Token of Life, so you got to be a little bit careful of your Q squad not to let that run out in full. But while this is happening, look at the top tower, the big creep wave presence, actually invulnerability even used by the Hellborn team. They're trying to delay that from being killed, but it's going to be destroyed up here, and it's going to be put into deny range very shortly. So Q Squad has, not that they said they should defend it, but that's some good news at least for Bunker down. But now, when will they initiate? This tower is going to fall. It's going to be denied, in fact. But here we go. We do see Silhouette up on the front lines, now beating on the melee racks. Legion team, they do get credit for that tower kill up top, so again, some positive news there. But their base is taking a lot of damage. Just when are they going to initiate? Just look at the spread, though, from the Hellborn side. I mean, just completely spread out. They're not giving Keeper much of an opportunity. Here goes the Eruption being channeled, the level 3 Eruption on top of the. He does it, but they miss absolutely everything right there. And here's a chance now for the Legion team to make something happen. Magnus is going to be caught in the cuff, but the Shuriken is activated. They don't care, though. Silhouette will end up falling when it's all said and done, but she's going to come back up with the Token of Life. But I think Q Squad may have overcommitted big time here. Silhouette's going to be locked down. She splits up with the Illusion, trying to tree grapple away. Will not be able to reach, though. The support trying to get in time. Here comes the root, though. That Glacial downpour from Glacial is going to be swapped by Andromeda to stop that, though. But Andromeda will fall, but Silhouette, when it's all said and done, even as odd as decision-making that was, she's just too powerful and cleans them up right there.
That was actually a really good ult by Nova. Even though she died immediately, I think it was swapped out immediately by actually, this action is still going on as they're pursuing, but no, they get a counter kill on the Bastion's Bloodbath coming out from Nox. Trying to pursue this Moon Queen now, sitting right on top of him. So much damage. Maybe looking for this Bubbles now. Are we going to see an Annihilation? We'll see. They don't want to give it to him. Bubbles is kind of do-si-doing around here. Does have a portal key up onto Nox. He's got a tree grapple. No portal key up on Bubbles.
Oh, no.
Oh, good juke there by Bubbles. We're not going to see the Annihilation. Although Pharaoh did have a hook. No, he didn't. It was 10 seconds on cooldown. So very close right there. But yeah, despite the ult being canceled quite immediately, I think from Andromeda swap onto that Glacius, it actually did do a lot of damage to help out Silhouette getting all those kills.
Well, speaking of that, I mean, he has a portal key again. Obviously, he went on Voodoo Jester, and he has a Glacius now. So Nova farming the portal keys on these pure support, and I'm trying to recall when he played for Fnatic, I never saw him get portal keys, so that's definitely something a little bit different there. But anyways, man, Silhouette, that was, let's be honest, Q Squad did overcommit there big time. That was some poor decisioning on their part, and that could have been a big comeback chance for Bunker down. But in the end, they are just too powerful. You see Pharaoh missing an ultimate here again in the middle lane, trying to land on the Tundra, but just a little bit too far away. But yeah, with the goal that they had, the experiences that they had, they were still able to overcome it. They have a level 22 Silhouette now. That is 7 levels higher than the Tundra, the highest level on the Legion team. Yeah. He is farming absolutely crazy, 640 gold per minute, and it is showing, of course, in his item. So he just was able to just do too much damage in the end for them to handle, despite a big overcommitment coming out. In fact, Keeper the 4 is going to be caught out here, and he will just absolutely melt. You see Bubbles putting out the Kel field, but not nearly enough to save him, of course. And now, Tundra, what are you doing? Walking right by them as if you're going to be fine. That was an odd decision. Andromeda's going to swap and talk about himself, and Tundra will still die. Nox is now 13 kills. He is on his way to Immortal, but it doesn't look like they're going to even give him the opportunity. As, oh, there's 14 kills. Oh, he's going to finish 14-0-9. So 1 kill shy of the Immortal. But yeah, I mean, just true domination there from Nox specifically, but really Q Squad as a team, of course. So 2-1 series lead now in favor of Q Squad, but it is a best out of 5, so obviously not over just yet.
Yeah, one game away from clinching that spot to DreamHack, and it seems like each team that's drafting more of the aggressive lineups now, even though they still have that hard carry in Nox,
Yeah.
but that aggressive tri-lane with Magma specifically seems to be working out for, well, both teams.
Yeah, it does, and it's again, game one, kind of a similar, not fully, but I think it was just more dominant by QsQ in game one. But Bunker Down in game two, completely different story for them. They looked very strong from the beginning, controlled it. QsQ here in game three, a strong start, and they controlled it. So it seems like we'll see if that momentum keeps up here going into game number 4. Are we going to see that sequence continue? Are we going to see a game 5 as a result of Bunker Down coming back, or will QsQ wrap up the series here? Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be going to a game number 4 between QsQ and Bunker Down. Sit tight. We'll be right back.